Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This video is going to be about the Bristol to Bath cycle. This is the first route of the National Cycle Network and it's a great day out to spend with friends or family or even just a way to get the heart pumping and stretch your legs. By the way, I am not sponsored by Sustrans, but I'd like to give credit where credit's due, and they have done an amazing job maintaining and making the cycle path. The route is 14 miles and traffic free and has a great, if not iconic, landmark at the halfway point, which I will get to later on in the video. I will document the journey from Bristol to Bath just because I live in Bristol, but you can do it either way, and I will leave all the details in the description below. I normally do the cycle there and back, but you can easily do it one way and get the train back. Bristol Temple Mead Station is about a 3-minute cycle from the cycle path, and Bath Spa Railway Station is about 10 minutes on the bike from the start of the cycle path at the other end. If you don't own a bike, I would say that hiring a bike near Bristol Temple Meads is quite tricky, so please do bear that in mind. But if you are starting your journey from the Bath end, then I would suggest hiring a bike from Bath Outdoors, and I will leave all their details in the description below. So let's get on with the cycle. I don't like to start cycles on an empty stomach, so I usually visit the Bakehouse, which is a conveniently placed cafe right at the start of the cycle path. It's a great place to grab a drink and a snack prior to the cycle, and it also has a loo on site. Plus, who doesn't want to eat a jumbo pain au chocolat or a slice of cake prior to a fun day out on your bike? Once you've stocked up, the start of the cycle path is just on the other side of the road. You might want a before photo with the Bristol to Bath sign or start your Strava or whatever, but this is the official start of the cycle path. The start is quite urban and maybe not the prettiest, but just bear with it because you soon get surrounded by nature and greenery, and then the path just keeps giving and giving. One other thing to note is that the first stretch is gently uphill, but then the rest of the path is relatively flat. The first, what I would call a checkpoint, is the Morrison's on Fishponds Road, and this is a good place to have a 5-minute breather if you need it, because there are some lovely picnic benches and a coffee van. And there is a loo at Morrison's. It's handy to have bike locks if you're riding solo, just because you can then lock up your bike and grab anything you need. Once you are on your way again, you soon reach a Bristol to Bath landmark, the Staple Hill Tunnel. The Staple Hill Tunnel is a great place to cool down, and it does drip a little bit on you, so please do bear that in mind. I also like to cycle through the puddles in the tunnel just because it's a good way to rinse off my tyres. After the tunnel, the cycle path becomes super smooth for a few minutes, so this is a great time to get pedalling and enjoy some speed. You'll soon get to a fork in the path, so just make sure to go right, otherwise you will end up in Emerson's Green. The fork in the path is also a cute picnic spot and a historic landmark. The old Mangotsfield railway station, so it's worth just taking a moment to explore all the twists and turns of this overgrown, disused railway station. And here is a picture of my mum doing just that. Venturing onwards, you soon cross a bridge going over a busy road. And please note, if you are cycling this route in winter, this bridge marks the last point at which you have street lights, so it suddenly becomes very, very dark. So make sure to have lights if you are cycling in hours of darkness. You follow the path round, enjoying some lovely views of South Gloucestershire, and you then cross over the A4174. After that, you go down the fun and only real steep downhill section, which leads you nicely into Warmley. Now, Warmley has a very special place in my heart, as I lived there for 3 years and I enjoyed great access to the cycle path and would regularly commute to Bristol because it was much faster than the bus. Warmley is your second checkpoint at around 6 to 7 miles, so this is roughly halfway, and it is marked by the most iconic landmark ever. They converted the old station into a tea room. It has all the usual sweet treats and hot drinks, and you can also get a warm lunch for that extra bit of sustenance. In the perhaps likely event that the heavens open up, there are some cute indoor sheds with fairy lights to enjoy your food. And for all the wonderful nerds out there, the loo is particularly special. The Warmley waiting room is really worth an explore, and as you continue on your journey, you will cross a road and see the station master waiting for the next train, as well as a cute little garden. As you continue, you will start to see more and more sculptures and statues along the route. The next checkpoint is at around 8 miles, and it's also another iconic landmark of the route, the Avon Valley Railway or Bitton Station. Now, if you play your cards right and do this cycle on a weekend, you are more than likely going to be able to race a steam train along the cycle path, which is great fun. The station itself is also worth checking out, as you can go onto the platform or explore the gift shop. And you can even buy a magnet. Although it's unlikely that you worked up an appetite since the Warmley waiting room, the Avon Valley Railway has a really cool buffet where you can eat food on a steam train carriage. But if you're not hungry, you can eat here on the way back if you choose to do a round trip, but I would check their closing times. This is your last opportunity to use the loo before the end, so if you don't like the idea of entertaining a nature wee, then use it there. And then the last few miles are just beautiful rolling countryside all the way to Bath. This section is rather flat and goes by really quickly. Once you cross the finish line, you also have a much more impressive sign to grab a few photos with. And then you are left with a few options. Depending on what your plans are, you can continue for a further 10 minutes by joining the riverside path along the Avon River all the way to Bath city centre, either to enjoy the sights of Bath or catch a train back to Bristol from Bath Spa Station. Some notable sites to visit that are close together and not too painful to enjoy after a long cycle include Bath Abbey, Old Pulteney Bridge and the Royal Crescent. If you plan to stay longer in Bath, you have to visit the Roman baths. But if you plan to cycle back to Bristol, I suggest cracking on once you've seen what you need to see, as you'll soon start to feel it in your legs and the saddle won't feel too welcome either. Thanks everyone for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Do let me know what you think in the comments section below, and I hope to see you in the next one.